I'm just gonna say this. I like Star Trek. I don't love all of it, I just think it's a good franchise. But I don't love it for the same reasons I like Star Wars. In fact, I don't think people should compare these two franchises. Star Trek isn't a poor man's Star Wars, but I actually did used to think that when I was a kid. But as I got older, I started to rediscover films like never before. And as this was happening, I finally understood what Star Trek truly is. Among many things, Star Trek is about exploration, whether it be the exploration of the farthest reaches of unknown space or the exploration of the human condition. But not a lot of people know of this because unfortunately they tend to be drawn more towards the action flicks. And no, I'm not saying that Star Wars is a mindless action blockbuster franchise for dumb people, but because of films like Star Wars, Star Trek has slowly started to drop the more thought-provoking themes in favor of fast-paced action. Again, don't get me wrong, I think action in Star Trek is a welcomed addition, but this isn't the core of the franchise. Because of this change, the fan base has been split into two groups: the newer, more mainstream fan base that enjoy the more action, edgier releases, and the nerdier bunch that are commonly referred to as the Trekkies or Trekkers as some would like to be called. But I'm not sure if I sit comfortably in either one of these groups. Maybe I sit somewhere in between, because although I really enjoy the more cerebral focused installments of the earlier movies, I occasionally do enjoy the rollercoaster ride that some of the later Trek films have to offer. That doesn't necessarily mean that the older films don't have this element, because Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, has both these elements, and it is considered by most Trekkies and even other film buffs to be the best in the series. And I must say, I pretty much agree with him. It had the perfect balance of action while still retaining the same thought-provoking themes that made Trek great in the first place. And then the sequel happened. Needless to say, it did not meet expectations, but the film after that was pretty good, but the one after that was terrible, but they did redeem themselves again with the sixth film. And this would be the last to star the original cast. I would say they definitely ended on a high note with this one. This coincidence led people to accept a belief that all the even Star Trek films are good movies, whilst all the odd Star Trek films are considered bad movies. This confuses me because I actually liked the first Star Trek film. Oh, and I think the 10th in the series is garbage, but back to the first film. I have watched and read the many reviews and general opinions that people had for this film, and I have to be blunt here. Never in my life have I ever witnessed the most ridiculous criticisms that has ever been given to a film than what was given to Star Trek the motion picture. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that they should love the film. After all, this is a movie, and movies are a form of art, and art is very subjective. My problem is people tend to complain about elements that are for some reason considered to be bad in this movie, but good in other movies. A lot of people also complain that it's not like other Star Trek films or even the original 1960s episodes. But all of these complaints are not ingredients of an objectively bad film. This is why I decided to do a deep analysis of Star Trek the motion picture. I must warn you though, there will be spoilers. And I hope that most, if not all of you, have already seen this movie prior to watching this video. But you don't have to if you don't want to. I just don't want this video to deprive you of the experience that I enjoyed on my first viewing of this movie, especially when it comes to the great reveal at the end of the film that is followed by a satisfying and incredible climax. So join me for part 1 of Why Movies, Why I Like Star Trek, the Motion Picture.